is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the game now at running back. They fake to him. Mahomes throws right side. Top Rice at the 5, angling right. Touchdown! Kansas City rookie Rashee Rice.
I really would not want to play our defense. I mean, we have great players. We have great players all around, every single level. You have players, you have depth. The guys rotate in, can do it all. And then you have Spags in this scheme, and all the guys are so well coached in the scheme that they use it to their advantage. And so that's what I knew in training. And I was like, man, I'm glad I don't have to play those guys because that would be tough.
Barton Community College had Saturday afternoon games against Dodge City in Jayhawk Conference play. Lady Cougars fell to Dodge in a good game, 67-60. Barton men able to pull away in the second half for a 20-point win, 95-75.
Up the floor, Harris, a lob, Hunter, deep catch, big dunk, he slams it down, and KU pushes that lead up to 14 with 1:15 to play.
When you have two girls teams scoring in the 60s, that's a good night of girls basketball. We knew it would be tough. I feel like we did come in and execute what we talked about. We came out third quarter and we shot really well, and this is just good for our minds again, and just staying calm and staying focused and remembering what the big picture is.
Tonight I was told that I was supposed to lock down 23 and know where 3 was. That was their 2 big scores. That was my main job tonight with the help of my teammate. If I got in trouble, like they were to step in and help. Sometimes our defense is our best offense, and I feel like tonight it really was again.
Now back to Quinley, top of the key, and he's going to fire over Abide. Another 3 for Quinley. It's 88-66. The lead's 22.
Jordan Love takes and drops to a knee, and that will do it. The youngest team in the NFL, the little team that could, came into Big D and take out the Cowboys, 48-32.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome into the Monday show. I'm Steve Webster, by the way. Joined here on the show, Mike Corson. You were here last week. Aaron Clark, he was here last week. Landon, were you here last week?
I was.
Okay. Landon Winkler also in on the program today. Okay. Plenty of things to talk about. Let's see, NFL playoffs. KU wins, K-State loses. Barton men are 15-1 now. Great Bend Panthers split a pair of games on Friday. So we'll cover all of those today. And Great Bend Tribune sports editor Jim Mazunas will be in on the program. I'm telling you what, if for a homeowner, last week was the best week ever not to have to come into work. It was nice. You've got time. You don't have to juggle work around blowing snow or cleaning things up.
Yeah, how'd you? I just know you were delighted when the heavy snow started coming down. You got that snow blower out, didn't you? You were itching. You were champing at the bit.
Let me ask you this one. It was a drier snow, but I saw some people plugging away with the shovel at their snow. Does yours get hung up or?
It was heavy, man. The Snow Thrasher 5000 is not as good as a Snow Thrasher 10,000. Now, when I was in the neighborhood, I had to back out of one area because it was too heavy, man.
Guess what I'm asking is it as good as my back is? Machine out there.
I will say I gotta try to find a metalhead snow shovel. Because I did break a plastic one. As it turns out, when you got a good 3-foot snowdrift, you can get more snow on the shovel than it wants to pull up.
It's made out of the same stuff as Patrick Mahomes' helmet.
Apparently.
We have, because you got a snow pusher, which are handy, but they're not good for scooping, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what I was using, but there's a broken one at home, and I'm gonna have to try to find a metalhead here when the prices on snow shovels lower.
They'll be right at the front door at your local retailer, set out just for you.
And Tuesday I started blowing snow at 9:30, and I got done about 2. I mean, it was up and down. I mean, if you had that, and people come out. I got cookies out of this. People want to pay me money. No, this was good. But the chocolate chip cookies I got were like dandy.
I'll tell you, one of the most disheartening things to wake up to, though, you get the sidewalk and the drive all shoveled out. And then it doesn't even snow that much, but the wind just drifts it all back in there within a few hours. And it's just, you shovel in the morning, and by evening, it's like, did you even do anything? It was so disheartening.
Mike Horson trying to be the Eagle Communications Employee of the Quarter, but it doesn't count.
They don't believe me. They said I scooped that this morning within 2 hours, toast.
So maybe it was a story. I don't know.
I'll put his name in the nominations.
Well, it is tournament week. High school basketball tournaments. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later in the show as well. Let's get to our sounds the past 24, 48 hours or so. The call on B104.3, the point Saturday. Patrick Mahomes completed an 11-yard pass to Rashee Rice, put KC up 7-0 early, and it was just the same pattern. And then, Butker kicks some. How do you kick a football that's cold? Is
frozen.
Like Andy Reid says like kicking a chunk of ice. And the Chiefs go on, dominate the Dolphins 26-7. I wish they'd have put it away better than they did, but still, they went out and did what they had to do. So now Kansas City waits to see if they play at home next weekend against the Texans or if they have to go to Buffalo. Buffalo and Pittsburgh had their game postponed today so they could clear snow. They'll play at 3:30 this afternoon. Buffalo wins. They host the Chiefs. Steelers win. Kansas City hosts the Texans coming up on Sunday. Patrick Mahomes talking about the Chiefs' defense, which, yes, was very good. The scheme, though, was incredible. One play stands out for me, Aaron, because remember all the heat that Auburn took when the touchdown pass on basically the final play of the game because they rushed two guys. That fourth down play was incredible. 4th and short, and the Dolphins go for it. The Chiefs rushed their two outside guys, kept two spies in as their linebackers, had everybody covered. What a great defensive call by Steve Spagnuolo.
And I think it's just kind of encapsulates what he likes to do because it kind of looked like they were going to bring a little more pressure. The situation definitely justified it, and he wants to sit back and just make Tua have to beat you with the throw. It's something that during the regular season against some lesser teams when the weather is fine, Tua, he's made those throws. When it comes to playoff times, the weather gets a little worse. We see Tua's record get even worse. He's 2-4 against playoff teams under Mike McDaniel now. It's not a great look for Tua when you're trying to decide, is this your franchise quarterback or not?
A play that stood out to me on the offensive side with the Mahomes run, you had Pacheco out there running a route. Number 45 for Miami was following him all the way into the end zone. Mahomes could have just lined up behind that guy and let him be the lead blocker. And you saw him afterwards. He kind of was like shaking his head like he can't believe he didn't turn around. And I wonder if Pacheco was throwing up a deke like a hand.
Yeah, the old scoop Duke play, at second base. You come.
Yeah, baseball guys do it all the time.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, one of the things that stood out to me that the Chiefs defense did, I think this was in the third quarter, it got replayed on the broadcast a couple of times so you could see the rotation, but the safeties, they start with 2 safeties and 2 high, and they rotate that into more of a cover 1 look where it looks like they're going to move the strong safety into the box, and they keep that motion. The safeties never stop moving, and so the safety who started on the right side of the field drops down like he's moving into the box. The safety who started on the left moves up top. They never stop moving, and they just switch sides. They make the Dolphins think they're going from cover 2 into cover 1, right back into cover 2. That's going to cause a havoc with all of those quick reads, the things that Miami likes to do to get the ball out of Tua's hands. The things the Chiefs were doing with their defensive secondary, rotating those guys, they're making it hard on Tua, and it was a master class from Steve Spagnuolo.
You brought up a point, and we'll get to the Chiefs' chances now coming up. But, okay, so Tua Tagovailoa is not the same quarterback he was in college. Mahomes always gets the big play, and he's able to scramble for a first down. He has scrambled for 6 first downs all season. He used to be the guy that, had the legs and everything. Now, I don't know if they've told him to back off or he's still – but, one of those times, are you going to give him a big boy Deshaun Watson contract here coming up?
That's probably one of my favorite stories heading into the offseason because there's 3 things that they could probably do, and one that's going around is they're going to maybe try to chase Kirk Cousins. Mike McDaniel has that tie to the Kyle Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan's been enamored with Kirk Cousins since he spent his first 2 seasons in Washington with him. I also think they might try to do the Jordan Love kind of deal. We saw the Packers give Jordan Love a 3-year, not necessarily fully committing to him, but incentive-laden contract where if he plays up to his potential, I think that could set an excellent precedent for what Miami wants to do, but I wouldn't feel comfortable committing to him for the long term, just when you have the quarterbacks that you do in the AFC, guys who can play in cold weather, who can play in rough conditions, and who can step up in big moments like that. You have Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, even in the division next year, assuming there's a healthy Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, that's going to be another quarterback to try to compete with just in your own division. And with the arms race that the AFC has going, it's going to be pretty tough to compete if you don't have a top-tier quarterback.
And just being a human being, I think Tua is probably a solid human being. I actually get nervous watching at home when he takes off. Once upon a time, wasn't it life-threatening? So you're not only dealing with, you might lose him for the game.
Yeah.
It's his career. It's his life.
That's another thing. You mentioned You mentioned him being more mobile in college. He also got a broken hip when he was at Alabama. Don't forget that. And because it was the same injury that ended Bo Jackson's career, but more medical science has advanced a little way, so he's still playing. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of limited his mobility since that senior year, or last year at Alabama, not senior year.
Okay. It was cold.
Yeah.
But how cold? Okay, Aaron. When it gets cold, it's not as bad as you think, right? It's
the energy you get like the testosterone or whatever gets pumping through you definitely helps for those guys.
No, I was trying to remember. Okay, that was 2 years ago. We did a playoff game, and it was 8 degrees. And it wasn't bad, but the wind wasn't blowing.
Was that at Mays?
That was at Kensington.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Panthers. My bad.
You were
reffing.
I was reffing.
My apologies.
And I'm not saying that we're jumping around and hurdling guys and everything, but the Chiefs tackled well on a cold day.
They were thumping. And a lot of what Miami likes to do is get that horizontal lateral movement moving behind the line. There was a couple of times, I think it was Nick Bolton running up on an outside pitch left to Raheem Mostert. That just had to hurt because he comes in screaming like a missile. When it is cold, it does hurt a little more to take those hits because he's just a little tighter everywhere. Couldn't have felt good to be taking lumps from a guy like Nick Bolton, George Karlaftis, Chris Jones all day.
Had a tremendous game.
Oh, he's been so good this year. So nice to see after some Chiefs fans, his rookie year was a little slow of a start because, he's a rookie Big Ten defensive end still trying to get used to it. But he's been incredible this year. Very nice to see, especially when you're not sure if you're going to have Chris Jones back next year.
Yeah, I went for a walk that morning, couldn't go more than 2 blocks into the north, so to me it was more impressive for Rice with the fine motor skills to make some of those catches on hard passes versus a defender maybe coming up and using the bigger parts of his body.
Absolutely crazy to have a breakout receiving game like Rashee Rice did, considering the temperature and just the weather environment in general, but stepping up when they need him to. If he can play like that, making the moves after the catch that he did, it's going to be hard to stop. That's kind of been the piece they've been missing.
Chiefs threw the ball the first 3 plays of the game. Mahomes threw it 41 times. I just think, and Miami just brought 3 extra planes along on the trip for their cold weather gear.
And I saw something I wanted to get your opinion on, just being a former quarterback. I think it was a quote from Tom Brady, specifically for the quarterback. These cold, frozen games aren't as bad as you might think because it's much harder to catch the ball for the receivers and it hurts more getting hit. But that icy surface, it negates a lot of pass rush that those elite defensive ends are able to get off. It slows them down. It takes away their footing. And it does the same to your offensive linemen, but they're not relying nearly as much on the quick explosion to beat you. So when you're a quarterback, you can kind of sit back a little more, maybe have a little more time in the pocket if you can sit there and throw darts. I thought it was an interesting perspective to think about.
Well, yeah, if you're Tom Brady, what do?
Right.
You deflate the footballs.
No, that is true. Makes it easier for your receivers to catch in the cold there. He didn't have to worry about that at all, so it probably wasn't a concern.
Confidence meter, who'd you rather face? Would you rather play Buffalo on the road or at home against Red Hot Texans team?
I like to have the indoor teams have to play outside. I think that's problematic. Buffalo's obviously going to be used to the weather up there, and then they've been hot, so I wouldn't want to go up there, play at somebody else's field in conditions they're used to. the Texans, they play a clean style of football. I don't know, kind of like Miami, if that stacks up on another cold Saturday.
I'll go ahead and take my chances with a rookie quarterback playing at home.
Absolutely.
But I don't think that when you go on a trip, all these different ways you go, but you don't want to go the same way every time. It gets boring, right? Chiefs headed to the Super Bowl. Let's take a different route this time. Let's go to the Super Bowl through Buffalo.
I think the important thing to remember about how hot the Texans are is that we haven't seen what the Bills were able to do in the first round of the playoffs against a Steelers team that's kind of coming limping into the postseason. But in the final weeks of the regular season, Bills won, I think, 5 of their last 6 games, wins coming over Kansas City, Miami, teams that are good playoff teams. I wouldn't want to have to go to Buffalo. And like you said, Webby, playing a rookie quarterback, he looked incredible in game one.
Yeah.
Almost 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. But can he do it again against a defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, who seems to be in his bag right now, kind of what we saw him doing against the Dolphins. If he can make the Miami offense look like that, what can he do against
Or does he
Texans?
turn into Cinderella like Joe Flacco did, 45-14? Okay, let's see. And let's go ahead and jump ahead because the Dallas Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
WRNW, 7-seed Green Bay. And they jumped out to, 27-0?
At half.
Yeah. Well, after Dak Prescott should have thrown his 3rd interception in the first half, then they were able to stick it in right before the end of the first half. So you going to give Dak some money next year?
Probably not at this, but if you're... it's crazy because I don't know where the problem with the Dallas Cowboys starts. Because I don't think you can look at the team during the regular season and see that it's a not talented team. They went 12-5. They're the first team in NFL history to win 12 games in 3 consecutive seasons and not reach a conference championship in any of those seasons. But at some point, you kind of got to look at the very top. Jerry Jones, they haven't won playoff games since they were winning Super Bowls in the 90s. They've had Jason Garrett in there, Mike McCarthy.
Change things if you still got the same guy running the play.
Certain name was being thrown around heavily last night.
Yeah. How do you think Bill and...
There's no way. There is not...
Jerry Jones get it.
That's just 2 guys who want absolute control over the franchise. I cannot imagine Bill Belichick wanting to go...
Okay, down, boy. We need to move. Okay, go ahead.
The kicker for me on that one was we'd said how good Dallas was indoors, at home, offensively and defensively. Got destroyed on both sides of the ball. It was great to watch.
You want to hear about someone good in Jerry world? Packers, 6-0 all-time in Dallas now, including 2-0 in the playoffs.
Cole Rife, he had the game wrapped. The Barton Cougars. Barton men are 15-1 on the season. They beat Dodge 95-75, pulled away in the second half. Lady Cougars falling to Dodge City, who was ranked 14th in the country, 67-60. Okay, Cowley men got beat on Saturday at Cloud County, so they have a half-game lead on Barton for the conference lead. Hutchinson is 9-1, Barton 9-1. Guess who plays on Wednesday night at the Warehouse in Hutchinson? Oh, yeah, a big one coming up, the Barton Cougars and Hutchinson Blue Dragons. Hutchinson women, they're 16-0 on the season, 10-0 in conference play. Barton 7-3, 12-4 right now. They're in 4th place in the Jayhawk Conference. All right, the call by Brian Haney on KVGB Saturday. DeJuan Harris sets up Hunter Dickinson for the flush. KU comes back from just a horrible loss to UCF. They beat Oklahoma, who's ranked 9th, 78-66. K-State loses. They fall to Texas Tech. Go-ahead 3-point play with 30 seconds by Joe Touchant, and Texas Tech wins 60-59. Trina Luters, like the composure she saw from her squad, 68-61 though. That's a lot of points for a girls' game.
Some nice athletes on both sides. The shooty girl from Halstead, I was told the difference. And I know she's been a 4-year kid, yeah. Good track volleyball girl. And that's what Hoisington is full of. So when Hoisington can score, it's fun to watch them run.
58-37, the boys win against Halstead. Let's see. Kenzie Premer had 3 steals and was on the point of attack defensively. Lady Panthers beat Hutch 44-36. How good's Hutch?
They were pretty good. The big story for Great Bend, though, was the defense getting, I believe it was number 3 and 23 for Hutchinson, the Lady Hutch. They were able to stop their scoring. 44, looking to be the magic number for Coach Beck's squad. Back-to-back wins, last time allowing 34 on Friday. They allow 36. I think when you allow under 40 points, that Panther team, when they can capitalize, turning defense into offense.
Okay, you called the game, right?
I did.
Who was 3 and...
Posh was number 3.
Yeah, there you go. I couldn't remember which one for sure was
blonde
which.
Had a 3-point shooting girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would say that was a pretty quality win for Great Bend. I watched Posh warm up, and she wasn't missing well. Does that translate to the game? It was early on. So you not only had the outside threat, they had some nice post players that Great Bend shut down too.
Okay, boys lose their second straight. What happened in the second half?
A tough break. The scoring kind of fell off for the Panthers, and something that I was kind of surprised that would change for Great Bend. They were only able to force 8 turnovers against Hutchinson, and I believe 6 of those came in the first half. So Hutch only giving it away twice there in the third and fourth quarter, but Great Bend couldn't quite get it rolling, and they took a 1-point lead into halftime, and Hutch came out with some answers. At the end of the game, the 10-point deficit doesn't give it justice, I think, to how close it really was, because I want to say with under 3 minutes for sure, it was a 2-point game. Ian Premier goes up for a dunk and ends up getting called. It was a tough technical. I don't think he hung onto the rim that long in particular, and I definitely don't think he had space around him to fall. But
it was an interesting call. It was a deficit, and Great Bend got it down to 2, so they had all the momentum. I believe Premier's dunk, it was on a rebound. I believe it would have tied the game. He stayed up there, and I think if he would have just hung there, it would have been fine. There was people underneath him, but he tried to get the rebound while he's breaking down the rim. So I would say maybe the Techs deserve, but how about the strength to hang one-handed on a broken down rim and try to get a rebound? So they did call the technical. Hutch got basically 2 free throws out of that on the free throws in possession, and then that was kind of ball game. But Great Bend did make it interesting. Hutch's post would step out and hit several big threes, so that was a big one. They had a guard who would drive baseline and
Julian
shoot threes.
Smith was the post player for Hutch, rather, making the threes, and he's shown some range this year, but I think it was a season high for him in 3-point shots. Made, I want to say, 3 from range, and you got a 6'4" post player stepping outside like that and then still doing work inside, because he scored his first 4 points from the line of scrimmage off of post block fouls. It's kind of tough to stop Hutch. They're a good team.
And the Hennahawk came out, hit 2 threes early on, would do these sweet baseline drives, and they make jump passes. Yeah, not a bad team. 1 loss to May South, number 5 coming into that game. So of all Great Bend's losses, that was probably easily the toughest.
On to Salina for the Salina Invitational. Games on Thursday. We'll talk more about that and the call. Dave Woloshin from Learfield. Javon Quinterly knocks down a 3-ball. Number 13, Memphis, beats Wichita State yesterday, 112-86. Okay, sounds the past 24 hours. More sports weekend headlines to talk about after that.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
You don't have to be a pro to capture memories this holiday season. At Nextech Wireless, get the latest phones to share those precious moments. For a limited time, get the new iPhone 15 or Samsung Galaxy S23 on us. Nextech Wireless, home on the range.
Now, in its second decade. It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Sports Day today brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend and Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Also, by Equity Bank, your hometown sports partner. Visit one of our 5 local area banks in Great Bend, Larned, Maxville, and St. John, equitybank.com. There were a lot of games, a lot of things going on over the weekend. There were a lot of butt kickings out there all over the place. But maybe the most impressive one was in Wichita, where the Great Bend Panther wrestling team went. They've won that before, the Cape and Duels, but never by just dominating the field. What was their closest match, 64-15?
They were all pretty big, and it would be curious to see. I didn't tally them up to see how many of those were open points because Great Bend was even without its third-ranked Matthew Johnson, I think at 215. So to put up those types of scores without one of your top wrestlers out there is pretty impressive. Andover was ranked number 5 in Class 5A. I'm not sure they wrestled quite all of their kids, but Great Bend, I think they started out at 5 this year, got moved up to 4 right at the new year, number 2 last week.
Yeah.
So, and then also, obviously, Capen was there. It was their tournament. Omari Elias, the star running back that broke the City League records, I think he's ranked number 2 or 3 up maybe 170, up towards the heavyweights. Great Bend found an open class for that one. So it would have been fun to watch him wrestle.
I love duels. I really do in high school. Because sometimes they're two different sports in a way. I mean, you have, the tournament type things, and there's different strategies for coaching because you're trying to get points in this. But I love the duels.
The different strategies, the different ways you can craft, deciding on where you want to give up 6 points in an open bout versus moving a guy up or down a weight class if he can swing it. A lot of thought process goes into those duels, and in tournaments, like you were saying, where it's just you kind of have to stay at that weight class all day. It's you versus the field. Duels, it's still a lot more of a team versus team sport. It gets fun on the end, especially when you get down to the heavyweights and they have the control of who wins the duel. Oh, man.
Yeah, and you did see some of that. I think Jay Sharts is ranked number 2 or 3 at 157, got to move up or down one. Michael Montoya was in 3 different weight classes. So there was some nice movement. Nice job by Coach to recognize some holes there.
Well, Jay Sharts is a pretty versatile athlete for the Panthers in a couple of regards. One of the only guys I've ever seen go from playing cornerback on a football field to defensive end a few snaps later. He was pulling double duty on the football field for the Panthers there, so him moving up and down the weight class, there'll be nothing new for him going against some bigger athletes.
How about quarterback to defensive end?
I was waiting if you were going to bring that one. But
come on.
Did you do that same game, or I thought that was like a career transition for you?
It was a career transition in 1 week.
There you go. That makes sense.
It's a Fat Rod Wallace story. He comes in, throws for 450, and the next week I'm turning in my quarterback shoulder pads for.
Didn't have a flak jacket on there anymore, huh?
No. But I still was a holder.
There you go. You had the hands, could get it out, laces out.
Oh, yeah, laces out,
Dan.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, one more thing, because I did not watch the Detroit game last night. So, Matthew Stafford, you said, was the toughest man alive.
He was just taking hit after hit, and me and Corson kind of talking. I don't know how he didn't necessarily get pulled out of the game from their new concussion protocol, because there was one in specific that looked a little rough, but he was just taking hits. His shoulder got stepped on at one point. His head got slammed down. He was having some rib issues that I think dated back even a little bit earlier in the season. But he wouldn't come out. And just one of those things that throughout his career, Matthew Stafford has kind of built up a reputation as like a guy who's going to stay on the field. One of my favorite clips of him is he's got a dislocated shoulder, and he goes out and extends a football over. I think they're playing the Saints at the time. And this is early, probably before 2012. Dislocates his shoulder, but then scores a touchdown for the Lions. He's built a reputation as being a tough guy, and it was on display last night. But shout out to Detroit. First playoff win for the Lions since 1992, I believe, for the 1991 season. Great for him, and even nice to get it over Matthew Stafford and the team that sent them their scraps, Jared Goff, and they've kind of turned that.
That was a great storyline going in. I mean, two quarterbacks that had traded for each other.
And I want to point out, people are talking about who won the trade. I think this might be one that you can say both sides won, but you cannot say that the Rams lost the trade because they lost this playoff game, because they won the Super Bowl. And that is, once you win the Super Bowl, you accomplish what you set out to do. Like after that, They won that trade because Matthew Stafford got him the Super Bowl. There you go. I'm not saying the Lions can't also win that trade now, but I've seen some speculation like, oh, the Rams should have held on to Jared Goff. And I think we had seen that offense reach its potential with Goff. Stafford comes in, wins them a Super Bowl. Excited for Detroit, though.
Yeah, Detroit, they're going to.
And Detroit basically doing it with no star power other than Goff. It's hard to come up with a name on that team and Dan Campbell, the coach.
They can run the football, too. I mean, they've got some receivers.
That was the first time I had watched the Rams because I can't stand their uniforms. And we've heard about Puka Nacua all year long, broke their rookie reception record. That kid is phenomenal. We got to get him out of L.A. and sign him up, put him in red. That kid, you can't tackle him. He's nice and quiet, so he doesn't look like he's going to barn stomp you all over the floor, but you cannot tackle the kid.
Barn stomp.
Yeah.
They've done an excellent job in Detroit the past couple of years picking up guys in the draft and as free agents, but some of the talent they've brought in from the college ranks and built up. Penei Sewell, one of the best young offensive tackles in the game. You got a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown catching passes. Detroit, they're fun. It's fun to watch.
And I know.
Okay, and one more thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Tay stole the show up in Kansas City dancing in the press box. And it's interesting to find out that they're exactly right below the
Did you
thing.
see Corson, what he wore in today? There's only 2 of those knitted coats.
Are those only 2?
Yeah.
I thought she made them for the whole, all the, quote, wives. But so to me, the flip side of that was you saw Eminem in Detroit. That is a through-and-through Detroiter, and he goes to the games. So he gets a little fanfare. But the guy's a genius, and he actually loves Detroit Lions football. So it was fun to see.
What's Eminem do? Was he the
Greatest-
brown one or the red one or the yellow
Greatest
one?
rapper of all time.
Oh.
From 8 Mile.
He was the peanut one, actually.
So they actually have Mom's Spaghetti right down the street where it's based off his song, and they sell spaghetti.
So did they open their booth, or did?
It seems like they're
because their window was iced over. She was concerned. I mean, I was impressed. She was trying to scrape it herself. She didn't have some handler come down and.
If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. She knows that.
I guess I thought those booths were pretty secluded, but they're right underneath where the broadcast was, and then there's, quote, normal fans right beneath her.
That's what I watch the game. Imagine you're going to a Chiefs game, you get there, and then you learn you're sitting right in front of Taylor Swift. You're going to be on the national broadcast a time or two.
We had fun at our house watching the Chiefs because we kind of came up with our own little Chief bingo game. And the one where every time they mentioned the temperature or every time they showed Taylor Swift, you had to take a swig. We had to throw those 2 out because we wouldn't have got through the first quarter.
And how about they got the guys in the booth, and they've got heat in there, whether you can see it or not, but you can see their breaths. Kaylee Hardtongue they put her out on the sideline for the duration of the game.
Who's that guy? Why?
This is the guy out in the hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but I would say, I went out for a walk in my thin line Nike wind pants. I'm pretty sure these people can afford REI. It's a difference maker when you're out there. So I don't feel too bad. But you had the guys with no shirts, and I would say, dude, do whatever you want. We will not give you medical assistance today. That's going to be natural selection.
And I'd love that the stuff be okay. 2 other things here, real quick. Okay. Well, why didn't they postpone the game? They did it in Buffalo. It's not even close.
2 completely different situations. The Chiefs was very cold. The Buffalo Bills have 2 feet of snow up there that they would have been trying to get people out in and trying to
Pittsburgh can even get in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so somebody said to me, it's silly that they're out there in those dangerous conditions for a game. No. Make no mistake about it. It's not a game. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. So for many, many people, that is very important. It's not just a game.
Well, what if they had come up and said, the Dolphins said, well, hey, weather down here in Miami is perfect. Why don't we just move the game down here, and then we won't have any weather problems?
Well, that's what they're talking about with Buffalo, and I was actually worried about that. No, Buffalo earned that seed, and we've played in cold before. If you have to move the day 1 or 2 days, do that. Do not change the venue.
When they had it's 40 inches of snow, I think they moved their game to Detroit, but that was a regular season game.
Yeah, and something that kind of made me laugh about the whole situation in Buffalo was the New York governor came out and announced that the game was going to be moved. And then probably 30 minutes to an hour later, I had a bunch of from the Tweeterverse talking NFL sources now confirming the game will be moved to. It's I'm pretty sure the governor of New York just told you the game's getting moved. Like, I don't think you guys had to come out and confirm any. Like, I'm
no
pretty
one
sure.
listens to them anyway.
I'm pretty sure if the principal says there's no school, there's no school.
And finally, for those who beat the system on Saturday, it's $6. $6 to get Peacock. We'll show them we're going to go to the bar, and we're going to go and we're going to spend $130 instead of enjoying the game on the 50-yard line on my own couch. I'll show him.
To barely be able to see it from the back of the bar.
What else can you do for $6?
It is a joke. I pay a lot of money for cable and internet. It's a joke that they switch it to a venue that I have to pay extra for, and it was streaming. My internet doesn't always work the greatest, so several times I got pixelated, and I'm paying $170 to watch these. So the kicker with your cancellation deal, I think Peacock has a 39-day policy, so if you get it for 2 days, cancel, you might not be able to get back in for 39 days. There's probably ways around that. So before you cancel, make sure there's no upcoming events you want to watch.
Well, if they come out, I will even – so if they come out and say that the Super Bowl is going to be streamed this year, then I could see being upset. But come on.
But if you look at it, you've got it used to be what? NBC, CBS, a little bit of ESPN. Now you've got NFL Network. Not everybody gets that. Now you've got Amazon Prime. Definitely a lot of people don't get that.
Better
now
tread
Peacock.
lightly.
Fans
run
need
your
to
antitrust exemption. $6? No.
Like people are asking me, like, "Are you going to watch the game?" I've been watching Sunday Night Football all year, folks. I hate to break it. I've had Peacock since August. We've been rolling.
And I've watched track on there as well. But the sad thing is, with those record numbers they had, like 23 million streams, yeah, they're going to do it again.
Yeah, set a record.
I did think, though, they're marketing like this is the first game to be exclusively streamed. I was like, I don't know if you should be necessarily.
Now, I did panic, too, because it was at the Texans game, right? Was before that one. And then all of a sudden, I get the blue wheel going around and around and around and around. And I said, well.
Well, and because the Buffalo game was canceled, they re-aired last year's
AFC
title game
Championship
against Cincinnati. I was like, well, the Chiefs can catch. Oh, it was last year.
Yeah.
It was a stark, because I saw that same game on it. It was a stark reminder of how far they've fallen. But Rashee Rice on the upswing. He looked
Their defense
very
is
good.
as good as it's ever been.
That's what they built for. They drafted for this.
Wins away from getting back.
Back to back.
Sports Day today brought to you by Nextech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. And the Barton Cougar Booster Club continue their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. Coming up, Jim Mazunas is wearing a Nickerson Panther, pullover? And on it, and he's got one inside. That stands for the one victory that the boys and girls teams have combined this season as they head into the Midwinter Classic. Jim Mazunas up next here on Sports Day.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just one semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartoncc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
He's covered more big games than anyone else in the Golden Belt. He might be on your sideline, in your gym, or just about anywhere there's a game. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Mozunas.
Jimbo! Good to see you. I think it's the first time I've seen you in 2024.
Yeah, that's true. It's a bunch of holidays on Monday.
Well, yeah, there are, and you know that. So do you have Peacock?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Watch the game.
What if you didn't have it? Would you?
Oh yeah, $6.
$6. Yeah, that's
it's even hard to spend $6 for a burger anymore. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. Okay.
I waste a lot more money than that.
I'll let you start. There's so many things on this weekend. Where do you want to start on this day as we head into tournament week?
Well, I think that really the big deal of the weekend was just how important those Great Bend and Hutchinson basketball games were. Absolutely crucial for 5A seeding. The girls got it done. They moved up into position right behind Emporia for the 5th record in 5A. And if they can have a good week this week, they'll be primed to have a shot at being a top 4 team. On the other hand, huge loss for Great Bend. Had they won that game, they would have been top 4. They would have been ahead of Hutch with a head-to-head win. Now they're basically 3 games behind Hutchinson with 3 losses. Hutch has a head-to-head win with 1 loss. So tough loss for Great Bend.
And they wouldn't be that bad but they dropped that game at Garden, which.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I mean, basically a guy who didn't have that great a game, 5 for 17 with a bunch of turnovers, ends up beating a double team and driving through the whole team and getting a foul. And, to his credit, he got the job done. But just like with K-State basketball, if you got a shot to win the game, hey, you had a shot. You had a shot to win the game. Great Bend had possession and didn't get a shot off.
So you look at those WAC standings right now. There's Hayes. They didn't play since December 17th or something like that. And then they waited until Friday. Yeah, they had a month off. And then they picked up a couple wins. They beat Liberal and then knocked off Garden City in a close one on Friday. So.
Yeah. Hayes was down 10 points with 4 minutes left and scored the last 12 points of the game. So they absolutely stole one. So Garden is in control of the league. If they beat Great Bend at home and Hayes at home, they're 2-0. I mean, they're not in control, but basically they've taken care of business on their home court. Huge loss for Garden City. Their reign for the WAC champs is done.
How about the Lady Panthers, though?
Yeah,
sitting at 7-2 right now. That was a good win over Hutch.
Good win, and I like what Coach Beck has done. She says we're a defensive team. Our identity is full court defense, half court defense, playing defense, taking on their top players of the other team and making it tough for them. So I really like that because basically if Great Bend scores 45 a game, they're going to be good. I mean, their defense is outstanding. A lot of quickness out there. Got a bunch of cross-country runners running around out there who can go the whole game. And very athletic team, very undersized, but I'll take quickness and athleticism any day over height. That's their big, not weakness, but their big concern is when they face couple of tall girls who are over 6 foot, 6'1", they're going to have some issues. But
yeah, but you can pressure. You can take care of the post by pressure the
ball,
perimeter.
Make it hard to get to them, and so far so good. And yeah, great win for Great Bend. Go out to Garden and get a win, and then beat Hutchinson, which there was a little bit of revenge there. Guess who ended Great Bend season last year?
Let's see, Hutchinson, yeah.
And they scored 20, 25 points. Really, Great Bend played a great game last year, too. I think the score was 32-25. So they did exactly what they needed to last year. And so good win. I mean, again, a team that beat you twice last year, and you beat them this year. So
Great Bend is in the Salina Invitational. And it's kind of neat because, okay, they're going to be in the same location, the same town, instead of, the girls going to, they always would go different places on different tournament weeks. And then they go, and then they're facing a team they've already played this year in Buhler, and they're playing at different locations at different times.
Yeah, it's
at times that are overlapping.
Yeah, it's amazing that you could draw an 8-team tournament and play a team on both sides that you played. It's just amazing that could happen. But no, that's great. And kudos to Great Bend's athletic department. They got both teams down to Kingman now. Hayes didn't do them any good. It's fun playing different teams. And again, a change for the girls and boys playing at the same place. It's great. Great change for Great Bend. Great change for the fans, although they may have to drive over from one place to the other really fast.
Yeah. Now, Great Bend the boys will play Buhler on Thursday at 4:30. Now, that's going to be at Salina Central. The girls will play Buhler at 3 at Salina South. So it's kind of interesting. They have 3. And then they need to either both win or both lose, okay?
Yeah, then you'll be okay.
Yeah, then you'll be okay because all the consolation bracket games will be at Salina South. And then the winners bracket games, including third place, are going to be at Kansas Wesleyan.
Yeah, fairly confident that they can handle Buhler. They matched up pretty well with them first time. Although Buhler girls played probably their best game of the year when they played Great Bend the first time, and it was really a good challenge for Great Bend to get tested. And that's one advantage Great Bend boys and girls both have is they've played some competitive games right down to the wire. So that's going to help them. It's going to help them this week.
Okay, the Winter Jam gets underway today. So any particular matchups? One thing good about the Winter Jam is you get to see some of the small schools play the bigger schools, and some of those smaller schools have done quite well.
Yeah,
over the years, and La Crosse plays Hoisington today, and La Crosse is 5-1. Hoisington's getting better. They're 4-4. That's an interesting matchup tomorrow night at 8. And then let's see, Minneapolis, Ellenwood. What else stands out for you?
Yeah, I really like that La Crosse-Hoisington game. I mean, Hoisington basically started 2 weeks behind everybody because of football. And finally, they played very well against Beloit, the best team they've played. Played very well Friday against Halstead. Played 2 of their best games of the year, in fact. So they're definitely on the rise. They play a really good game. I think they're going to win that game. I mean, it's certainly a toss-up, and certainly Hoisington has a lot better chance than when they started. Randy Chambers came in and gave him some firepower. He won a shooting contest down in the Larned tournament, and Coach Haxton has recognized, hey, we need to get this guy some minutes, and he ends up getting a career-high scoring. So, and Ellenwood boys have had a good season. Ellenwood-Victoria will be a really good first-round game, too.
Games today start at 3:30. Minneapolis girls against Ellenwood. Minneapolis, the number 1 seed. Ellsworth boys taking on Minneapolis. And then the Pratt, that's at 5. Pratt girls against Otis Bison at 6:30, and Ellenwood boys against Victoria at 8. Midwinter Classic. Who is the favorite to finish second?
You're picking Sunrise?
I'm going to go with Sunrise.
Yeah, that's
in
probably
this
not
one.
going out on the limb.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Maxville has earned some good wins so far.
I concur.
Diego Esparza made 21 free throws Friday, and Maxville scored
Get to the line,
scored him 30-5 at the line. So, if you can get your best player to the free throw line, he shoots 90%, you're probably going to win. So, yeah, I would guess Maxville is probably the favorite at the bottom bracket. And, Central Plains, Coach Ryan has done a terrific job up there, and they're playing very well. They're gonna have a good chance against Sunrise. I mean, they'll certainly be overmatched, but they've played very well so far. So I give Coach Ryan and Central Plains a good shot against Sunrise.
Yeah, so those games start today. 3:30, St. John girls against Chase. 5 o'clock, Central Plains takes on Chase on the boys' side. 6:30, Central Plains girls play Larned, and then the Sunrise Christian boys take on Cimarron, who was 1-6, but Cimarron defeated St. John on Friday night.
And that game has been shifted to Tuesday at Maxville. Sunrise and Cimarron.
Really?
Yeah, apparently there's some weather issues somewhere. But anyway, it's switched to Tuesday at Maxville. So it'll be a single game there. Which Sunrise will travel to Maxville to play Cimarron.
So they'll pass by, so there's a big snowdrift between Highway 50 and St. John?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't know where the travel issues are, but just got a memo this morning that game's been shifted to Maxville.
Well, I need to get on your memo list, so look at you, Big Jim.
Yeah, and then, of course, Nickerson girls have won 1, and the boys have won 0, so it's breakout week.
So I was accurate on the combined wins.
Yeah, that's right. And, I think the boys definitely have a shot to win at least 1, maybe 2, and certainly the girls, too. They're going to win 1, maybe 2. So we'll get off that 1 win for the season because 2024 is a new season. Got the grandson playing for Nickerson boys, Alex King, so he's having a nice year, but have struggled to score more than 40 points this year. So
I might have to go down there and see that. I want to see how you watch a game when your grandson's involved. You yell to refs probably more than you ever do now.
No, I think there's a rule there somewhere.
Overlooked in all of the things that are going on, and this way it does sometimes, but the Great Bend Panther wrestling team, the boys, are ranked number 2 in 5A and just a dominant performance on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that what's happened with Great Bend is their really good wrestlers are still really good, and then all those middle to competitive wrestlers, they've gotten better. I mean, the coaching
at the upper weights for sure.
Well, yeah, they were always a low weight team. Now they've got some powerhouses at the higher weights. They won without Trenton Kern and Matthew Johnson, and their lowest score was 62 points. So
yeah.
They went without 2 of their best guys, and their backup guys are still good enough that they can win. I mean, they had 8 wrestlers go undefeated in 5 matches. So that's just an amazing performance. And again, credit to the Great Bend coaching staff because, hey, they're getting all those guys getting going and doing a great job. So yeah, well-deserved number 2 ranking. And yeah, they're off to a great start. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that kind of dominance other than Hoxie the last year or so. They set a standard for being the best team in the state as a 3A team and last year, Hoxie. But yeah, Great Bend, great job by their team. They're doing fantastic.
Are you a Cowboys fan at all?
No, not a Cowboys fan.
Okay, but could you bring yourself as a Bears fan to root for the Packers?
Oh no.
Okay,
yeah, no.
So you were a Cowboys fan yesterday.
Well, although I'll have to admit that since the Bears played in the toughest division in the NFC, since the Lions and Packers, their division's 2-0. It's sort of like what they do for the college bowl thing. They're 2-0 in the playoffs so far. No, that was a stunner. It was just a stunner. And I totally disagree with that deferment stuff. If you have confidence in your offense and you think your offense is your best play, go with your offense. Guess what the Packers did? They built a 28-0 lead by taking the kickoff and running down the field. Guess what the Chiefs did? They took the opening kickoff and ran down the field.
But they didn't win the toss, though.
Well, I know, but you're right. When the Chiefs win, they defer. When they lose, they're taking the ball. And they're scoring. But the Chiefs are better off taking the ball.
Oh, Cole Rife, we've always just gone back and
yeah, I know it's a good debate.
But in NFL games, it seems like you can predict the number of possessions so much more than you can in high school or college.
Yeah, you can.
So if you got a good offense, man, take it. This year, I don't mind Chiefs doing that because that's where they hang their hat is on defense.
Yeah, and I agree. If that's the way it is, and I agree, the Chiefs are better defensively. I would defer, but when you've got a good quarterback and you're playing indoors, I'm going to take the offense.
I know when the Chiefs are rolling up and down the field, and they would defer, and then the other team because the Chiefs' defense wasn't any good, so you put yourself behind 7-0.
Yeah,
but I do like getting the ball in the second half. But it seems like it always comes down to that you've got a chance for a 2-for-1 at the end of the first half in an NFL game.
Yeah, it is amazing how that because you don't get you really like. There's been games where there's been 2 possessions in the first quarter's over. Because, the teams run 7.5-minute drives. So it is a fascinating thought.
Clock doesn't stop when you go out of bounds, so it keeps rolling on first downs.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch to see how bad the weather is in Buffalo because that's going to be a dicey situation for sure.
It's going to be any worse than what it was. Well, I guess there's snow on the ground, but I don't mind Chiefs going on the road this year.
Yeah, and I heard an interesting thing because when we were on the field earlier when the Bears played the Chiefs, we got on the field before the game, their grass is just impeccable. And the grass at Green Bay and Kansas City, it allows them to put heating elements under the grass that keeps that sort of. Buffalo doesn't have that. It's turf. So you talk about a frozen surface, that's certainly going to be the case. So you definitely want to get ahead in that game and take your chances.
Okay, real quick here before I let you go, because Naquan Tomlin was in town in Wichita yesterday playing for Memphis. He had 14 points in their win over Wichita State. I don't know what to think about K-State. You hear two different things. I was, well, look what they've done. You know, they blew out UCF, who beat KU. They go to Tech. Tech had won 5. Now they've won 6 in a row, and they almost won that game. What about K-State? How good are they?
Yeah, I think when they play decently enough, they're going to have a chance in every game. And if they shoot 25% on threes, they're going to lose most times. So they're a good enough, well-coached team defensively that they'll stay in most games. It was a tough way to lose. I mean, it comes down to a traveling call that wasn't called, and all of a sudden you're behind 1 instead of up 2 with the ball. So sometimes that happens. They still had the game-winning shot. And here's a question for coaches. You got 30 seconds. You're down 1. I go fast. I go fast, number 1, because you can catch the defense unaware. If you wind the clock, what you're doing is you're letting yourself have 1 chance. If you go fast, you may have 2, 3 chances. Great Bend had a possession Friday night where they had 5 shots, and they eventually got a technical foul. But that's what I want. I want multiple chances in that kind of game situation. But I don't know. Coaches must know more than I do, because I would always go fast and get a good quality shot and put the pressure on the defense rather than, okay, now we're down to 3 seconds and we got 1 guy with the ball. And that's sort of what happened.
Jim Mizunas, make sure you get some extra stickers so you can get some more wins, because you only got 1 on there.
Yeah, we'll
right
get some more stickers this week. We'll get them going for next week.
He's here. Jim Mizunas with us, Great Bend Tribune. We'll be back, wrap up the show after this.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmy's, make it happen.
Smart stays on the road. That's why it's in your engine. Cenex Maxtron synthetic diesel engine oils give you the smartest oil for the toughest conditions. These premium oils maintain 80% of their viscosity throughout the drain interval for superior engine performance across extreme temperatures. That horizon looks good with the competition behind you. Cenex Maxtron diesel engine oils. Oil that runs smart.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Attention high school juniors, explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just 1 semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartoncc.edu.
Well, you know, I'm back.
That happened a few times last week.
We end the show with 45 seconds to go. Okay, we have Winter Jam basketball starting at 3:30 today. Marlon Daubert with the call. Minneapolis girls against Ellenwood, followed by the Ellsworth boys against Minneapolis. And at 6:30, Aaron Clark, can't get enough. Pratt girls against Otis Bison. And the Ellenwood boys against Victoria following that game. So
Nash said I wasn't going to have any games.
Oh, no. Okay, we'll talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.